Hello and welcome to another exciting video. Now in this one, we'll be learning how we can integrate authentication using Auth0. So here we need to go to auth0.com and then click on sign up. Once you are there, you can just click on any of these social logins. Like I'll go ahead with continue with GitHub, and this is going to ask me, and I have authorized GitHub to pass on my information. And once that's done, you can see that my profile has now been created, and click on next. Okay, let's go to other and click on next over here. This is going to complete the profile creation process. And once we have the account set up, we can go ahead and create an application using which we will be authenticating our users. There you go. So here I'll be selecting, I have used Auth0 before. Let's click on get started, and over here I'll say create application, give it a name, social login, and here we'll be choosing the technology Next.JS. Click on continue. Now you can see that we have this quick start coming up. Then we have settings, credentials, add-ons, connections, and organizations. This is our client ID that is coming up. And these are the steps that we need to follow in order to integrate it with the application. So let's go to settings, and over here we have name, domain, client secret. Then we have the default location, application logo, and here we have the application login URIs. So the application login URI in our case would be HTTP, and the application is running on localhost port 3000, and we will be creating API auth callback, and this will be putting up over here in the allowed callback, and allowed logout URLs will simply have our port 3000, and we'll remove this. And here also I'll be updating the callback URL, and I'll be leaving the application login URI blank. So we have this callback URL now and the logout URL. Click on save changes, and once that's done, we'll be going back to our quick start. Now let's save changes over here one more time, and now we are at the quick start, and following this guideline, configure Auth0. We have already done that. So we have these three things with us: callback URLs and configure logout URLs already done. Next is installing the Auth0 Next SDK. So let's copy this, and here I'll be installing this now. So now that we have installed the Auth Next package, the next step is to configure the SDK, and for that we need to copy these environment variables, and we'll be putting them inside our env.local file. So let's go there and paste over here. So now we have these configured. The next step is to add the dynamic API route handler, and as it suggests over here that we need to create this directory API auth and then have a file Auth0 route.js. So what we'll do is we'll simply create this particular folder. So within pages we have the auth directory created, and once the auth directory is created, the next step is to have Auth0 directory created, and within that we have the route.js file. So I'll be copying this, and I'll go over here and let's select this, and here we have Auth0 already created. Now all we need to do is create a file, and this time around I'll be getting rid of the Auth0, and here we'll have the route.js. Now the route.js file has been created, and we need to copy this particular code piece from here and we'll put it over here. So we have our dynamic route controller defined as well, and based on that you can see we have this configuration. And if I take you to the settings, you'll notice that that's what we have done: API auth callback, and we have the logout URL over here. So going back to quick start and scrolling down over here, so we have API auth callback, and the next step that we need to do is have this add the user provider component. So the user provider component, we can go to our app.tsx file, and here instead of .js we'll just have ts file, and in the app.tsx, we will be first of all importing this and putting it over here. Next, we will be taking the user provider and we'll be wrapping it over here as user provider, and then we'll be closing it. So we have done this as well. And now we need to add the login. And what we will be doing is we'll be going to our components, we'll open up our nav.tsx file, and we'll add the login feature over here. So to do that, we'll be first of all importing user from Next.js. So here we have imported that, and we'll then define the constant over here, and we'll also log the same thing. So here you can see if the user is not logged in, then we are taking them to this API auth login. Otherwise, we are saying API auth logout. And once we have done this, we have updated our app.tsx file as well. And we have our route created as well over here, route.ts. So let's go ahead now and run the application. So here are a couple of other changes that I needed to make. The first is that we have to create this API auth, and within that we have to create this dynamic file that's 3.auth0.ts, and here I had to update this export default handle auth. Now once that's done, you'll notice that you'll be presented with this screen. I can go ahead and say continue with Google, and once I have selected my account, I can go ahead and click on continue, and there you can see it says that profile, access to your profile and email. I can go ahead and say okay, accept, and there you go. We have our profile icon, the name coming up, and the logout link. Now if I go back to our nav.over here tsx file, you'll notice that this is the link that is coming up, and over here it has the user picture, and then we have another class name which has the username, and then the logout link coming up over here. Let's go back and click on logout, and you can see that we are logged out now. So that's how easy it is to integrate Auth0 with your Next.js.